Hey guys, the Aviva's back in the news. You got Toyota versus Chevy, and California doesn't want you to work on their cars.
I'm Dave.
Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of Automotive News. I'm your host, Jerry.
And I'm Dave.
Dave's our in-house Chevy expert on anything from the Chevy Equinox to the Chevy Equinox.
I also have an 89 Camaro.
He has an 89 Equinox. Our first topic this week is if you really want an American-made supercar, especially one made in Ohio, now's your chance. You can pick up a Honda NSX for a nice
$159,000.
But on the bright side, manufactured in Ohio. Unlike some of our domestic brands, aka GM, who are closing down plants all around the country in their pursuit to, cut about 14,000 employees? Which will save them about $6 billion. The Lordstown plant has just closed about 2 months ago, and it's laid off about 1,400 Ohio employees. And now it looks like in Detroit, we have another plant closing.
Yeah, it's crazy to see that foreign manufacturers are using our domestic land for manufacturing when we can't even keep it, especially with the Bronco that's coming out.
Yeah, we have the Bronco coming out. That's going to be an awesome car. I'm so excited for it. It's going to look great.
Also coming from Chevy, and something that's going to kind of overshadow all the plants closing, is the new C8 Corvette.
Oh, talk about a gorgeous car.
So this car is going to come in at just under $60,000, and that's an absolute bargain for the specs on this thing and the design of it.
Exactly. The first mid-engine Chevy Corvette we've had so far.
So the mid-engine Corvette has been in design for 60 years now. It originally was a brainchild of Zora Arkus Duntov back in 1959, and it was originally labeled the CERV1. And to have the first production vehicle that we can actually buy is going to be great. And for a price point and a possible supercar killer,
I'm excited, man. It looks like a souped-up Fiero. I mean, what can you get nowadays that looks like a souped-up Fiero?
I hate everything about that statement.
Oh, it's amazing.
But the new styling on it looks great, but I feel like there's only so much you can do with mid-engine vehicles at this point.
Especially Chevy being a greenhorn in the whole mid-engine field. I mean, we have a lot of manufacturers that have been in this sort of design for a long time, and it's interesting to see what Chevy's gonna do with this. I mean, this is a whole new style for them, and it's gonna be
For a production vehicle, the only one I can think of from Ford is the GT40. Granted, that's been around for a while. It's nowhere near the price point this is.
Oh my God, no! It's gonna be. I can't even remember how much that's gonna be. Probably close to.
I think those are 400,000, 500,000.
400 or 500,000.
Yeah, it's going to be like seeing a unicorn. I mean, think about how many times a day you actually see a Corvette.
Yeah.
And this one only being slightly more than the previous generation.
And we're talking what speed? Like 2.8 seconds for 0 to 60?
Yeah. So it has a 495 horsepower V8. It's the new LT2 V8 from Chevy. And it'll do 0 to 60 under 3 seconds with the Z51 package on it.
Wow. That's pretty incredible for the price point that you have.
Now, the other vehicle that's coming out in 2020 is the Gen 5 Supra. And that's going to be... So, with the new Supra coming out, Toyota's only releasing 1,500 special launch editions, and you can't buy any other trim package until that first 1,500 are gone. And it's not bad. That launch edition is going to come in at 56,000. Is that going to be able to compete with the Chevy at just under 60?
Well, with the speed, definitely not. It's 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds?
3.8 seconds. So how many horsepower is that Supra?
335 horsepower.
That's a little shy of the 495 that the Corvette has.
Yeah, so, and being close to the Corvette's price, I don't see this going very well for Toyota.
The only way it's going to do better is the premium model is going to be 55,000 for the Supra, and the base model is going to be 51. But the styling difference on these two,
It's all about taste at this point. And I mean, you get what you pay for.
do you like the look of the new Supra?
It's not bad. I am more of a very defined edge kind of guy. I like a lot of lines. And the Supra is more of a rounded style. It's not bad. I don't like the rear end of the Supra, but I mean,
It looks
it's
sad.
it does. It looks sad.
Or it kind of looks like an e-girl with the wings.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody has their own taste. I'm not a fan of it, but I also may be a little biased because I've been a Corvette guy for a long time.
I'm curious to see what the tuner community is going to do with it. Is it going to have the cult following that the Mark IV Supra had?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll see how that goes. I mean, anybody will tune a Ricer nowadays, so we'll see how it goes.
I don't think there's going to be the room in the engine bay with all the newfangled electronics.
Honestly, you're probably right.
Actually, one thing I think Chevy took from the Supra was the cockpit design. I believe in the Mark IVs, a lot of the interior was facing towards the driver. And it looks like Chevy has designed everything towards the driver, and Toyota's taking it away.
I mean, honestly, that might end up being a nicer driving experience for Chevy drivers. It's nice to be able to have everything focused towards you. I mean, these things are meant for track riding, and I mean, with every Corvette that you buy, you get a free track ride, I think.
I think that came with this model too.
Yeah.
I know that was for some of the C7s, depending on what kind of package you got with it.
Wow. So we'll see how that goes.
In other news, Ohio might be bringing back the front license plate after just getting rid of it a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting considering the speed camera fiasco we've been having these past couple months. I got a feeling that it's a little bit of lobbying toward our politicians to see if we can get this back.
And that's what it looks like. It looks like a lot of the politicians that said they didn't want it are now kind of flipping a little bit.
That's interesting. I mean,
Just at the time the money's rolling in from those speed cameras to the local districts.
Isn't that crazy?
That's been a constant fiasco for us in the past couple months.
Oh, it's been ridiculous.
Fun fact, the only time Ohio has suspended the front license plate requirement was in 1908 during World War II to save metal.
Exactly.
And we should go back to that.
Yes, I mean, there's really no reason for a front license plate.
Well, the argument to that is it's going to be a lot easier to pick up any kind of criminal activity that's been used with the car. So not only do you have to look at the back of it, you can like catch a glimpse of it on the front.
Yeah, and I can understand that, but I mean, there's plenty of states out there that don't require it. That
PA next to us, does Indiana have a front light? I don't think Indiana has a front license plate. So that'll be interesting if they continue through that.
Yeah.
Speaking of states, in California, specifically Sacramento, they're trying to make it kind of illegal for you to work on your cars. Right now, you can only do minor maintenance to your vehicle, so oil change, brakes, and like minor tune-ups.
Interesting. So no body changes or anything like that?
Nope, you can't do like any, well, you can't really do any force induction or anything in that state anyways. I mean, if you look at a lot of modifications, it says not California compliant.
Wow.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about that is, what about if you have a vintage car?
Exactly. I mean, there's a huge market on not even customizing vintage cars, but also just fixing up your vintage cars. I mean, restoration is a huge thing. You're telling me that I can't restore a vehicle now?
The local law specifically says anytime you have to use a specific tool, it's not legal. So, I mean, think about the old drum brakes that you have and anything that required a tool for that.
I feel like that's a little overstepping.
But if you want a car that's definitely California compliant, you can go yourself the Lotus Avaya.
Oh, the Lotus Avaya, the
$2
million supercar.
$2 million supercar, all electric.
Yes, impressive. Pulls out a solid 1,972 horsepower with over 1,200 pounds of torque. 0 to 62 in what? under 3 seconds.
Under 3 seconds. That $2 million price tag is going to put a lot of people off.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, with an electric car with a with a speed of over 200 miles an hour.
It's going to be crazy to see one of these on the road, especially because they're only making 130 of those. And you can see it at the Monterey Car Week, and it's expected to come out. The production's supposed to kick off next year, which is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's sooner than they anticipated, from what I hear.
Yeah. Now, do you think cars are going to go all electric? We're going to see all electric cars on the road?
Ooh,
Only them?
I see. That's a hard thing. It's a little hard to do or to predict now. We do see a lot of cars transitioning into, and car manufacturers transition into electric vehicles. I mean, Chevy tried it with the Volt. We have Tesla obviously making strides.
Haven't we seen this in a movie before?
Oh yeah, what's that movie? iRobot.
Yeah. So who's going to be Will Smith riding around in their Ducati, flying in between traffic, causing a ruckus?
Oh. I'm excited.
I'm going to be blowing through my GT40 that you can probably get for $100 at that point.
Yeah. Gas vehicles. So, last year.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have a gasoline vehicle? I'm sorry.
Anyways.
Yeah, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Check back for the third installment. Catch you guys next week.